Hello everyone. Today we are exploring the topic of Islamic chronology and feasts. If you are curious about this important topic, this video is for you. Stick around because we are going to explore everything. For more in-depth information, you can check out my book, Ask Your Muslim Friend, where I cover this topic in section 1.7.4. I believe that it is a big advantage to know the chronology and feasts of Islam, because you will be able to identify your Muslim friend's behavior more easily and thus will be able to communicate more effectively. Questions that we are going to discuss and answer now are: what are the important historical dates of Islam? What are the names of the 12 months in Arabic in the Islamic calendar? What are the most important Islamic feasts and how are these celebrated? Dear friends, I understand that you are aware that there are different feasts within the various Muslim sects and that these feasts are also celebrated with different emphasis. We must also be aware that some of these celebrations are in accordance with the teachings of the Quran and Hadith, while others are in conflict with them. The Islamic year is based on the phases of the moon and is therefore 11 days shorter than the solar year. The Islamic year, called the lunar year, has 354 days and is divided in 12 months or 29 or 30 days each. This means that the month and feasts are 10 or 11 days earlier each year. An Islamic century is therefore about 3 years shorter than a Christian or Common Era century. The first year of the Muslim calendar is 622 AD, the year of the Hijrah. The Hijrah is Muhammad's emigration from Mecca to Medina. A convenient summary of significant Islamic years is as follows. First year in the Islamic country is 622 Anno Domini. This is the start of the Islamic calendar and where the Hijrah took place. 700 of the Hijrah is the 20th September 1300 AD. The year 1420 of the Hijrah is equal the year 2000 AD Anno Domini. Also want to note that first, AH means after the Hijrah. Secondly, AD means Anno Domini, in the year of the Lord, counting the years starting with the birth of Jesus. Next, I would like to mention the names of the 12 Islamic months. First, Muharram, Safar, Rabi al-Awal, Rabi at-Thani, Juma al-Ula, and the 6th month is Jumada al-Akira, then Rajab, Shabian, and the 9th month Ramadan, and then Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, and Dhul Hijjah. There are 3 very special months in the Islamic calendar. First is the first month Muharram. Muharram is the month of mourning. This is, however, only for the Shiites. Secondly, the 9th month is the month of Ramadan, is the month of fasting. And the third important month is the 12th month. Dhul al-Hijjah is the month of the pilgrimage. The next topic we will look at is the different Islamic feasts. In the following, I would like to briefly mention and discuss 8 different feasts that are important to Muslims. First, the New Year's Day in Islam is celebrated on the first day of the first month, Muharram. It is a holiday in many countries which is aimed to remind Muslims of the Hijrah, the migration of Muhammad from Mecca to Medina in the year 622 AD. The Ashura is celebrated on the 10th day of the first month, Muharram. It is a Shiite festival commemorating the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. Then, the feast Milad-e-Nabi Mawlid an-Nabi is the birthday of Muhammad. It is celebrated in the 3rd month, Rabi al-Awwal, on the 12th day. Then, next, the night of Ascension, Laylat al-Miraj, is celebrated on the 27th day of the 7th month, Rajab. On this feast, Muslims commemorate Muhammad's nightly journey to heaven in a dream. Some Muslims believe that Muhammad was physically transported. Next feast is the beginning of the month of fasting, is yet an important feast in the Islamic calendar. It falls on the first day of the 9th month, Ramadan. Believers abstain from food, drink, tobacco and intimate relations from sunrise to sunset. The fast begins with the dawn prayer, Sahar, and ends with the sunset prayer, Iftar, when a meal is shared with family and friends. The next feast, the Laylat al-Qadr, or the Night of Power, is celebrated on the 27th day of the 9th month, Ramadan. This feast is the night of destiny. It is the night of the revelation of the Quran, starting with the first 5 verses of Surah 97 to Muhammad. This is what Muslims believe. Muslims pray throughout the night, seeking Allah's glory. Also, the next feast, Eid al-Fitr, or breaking the fast, is again a significant festival celebrated on the first day in the 10th month of the Islamic calendar, Shawwal. This feast marks the end of Ramadan, the month of fasting. It is particularly grand celebration where new clothes are bought and gifts given to the poor and friends. It is known as Seker Bahram in Turkish or Hari Raya Puasa in Southeast Asia. Also, the next feast is the Feast of Sacrifice, Eid al-Adha, is celebrated on the 10th day in the 12th month called Dhul Hijjah of the Islamic calendar. The Feast of Sacrifice is indeed the greatest festival in Islam. For most Muslims, this is the remembrance of Abraham being expected to sacrifice his son Ishmael. This is what Muslims believe. Families slaughter a sacrificial animal, usually a sheep. The celebration can last up to 4 days after the Hajj or holy pilgrimage. Known as Kurban Bayram in Turkish, Hari Raya Hajj in Southeast Asia, and Tabaski in parts of Africa. Looking at all these 8 important Islamic festivals, I would like to highlight the month of fasting, Ramadan. This month occupies a special position. Although it is only counted as the 9th month, it is in the middle of the religious year and is considered the holy month of Islam, when Muhammad is said to have his first visions. Even those Muslims who have given up some rituals, such as daily prayers, must return to the source of their identity, the Quran, during Ramadan. They rejoin the community of those who remind themselves and others that there is only one Allah. In addition to fasting, it is customary to recite the entire Quran during this month and to observe all prayers carefully. Deeds and rituals performed during this month are considered more valuable than in any other month. In my contacts with Muslim friends, I have often participated in their celebration, such as attending the breaking of the fast in the evening during the month of Ramadan. It was always an interesting and joyful event. Each time I was amazed of the amount of food and drink consumed. Participating in the slaughter of a sheep on the day of Eid al-Adha, the theme of Abraham and the sacrifice of his son is always dominant. Please note that Muslims usually claim that it was Ishmael who was sacrificed, referring to Surah 37 verses 99 to 113. However, this passage does not mention Ishmael but Isaac. There we as Christians can explain the biblical story. Finally, I would like to suggest some questions that we can ask and discuss with our Muslim friends. First, what is the difference between the solar and the lunar calendars? Secondly, which festival is important to your Muslim friend and why? Thirdly, what does your Muslim friend experience during the month of Ramadan? And in addition, we can also ask and compare the story of Abraham sacrificing his son in the Bible and the Quran. What conclusions do you draw? How can Christians and Muslims discuss this important issue of Islamic chronology and festivals? Many Muslims have limited knowledge of these matters. However, I would encourage Christians to discuss these issues about Islam, but to start by asking good questions and listening to the answers and views of Muslims. I understand that it is good to make Muslims think about these issues, but it is not wise to argue. Perhaps later in the dialogue, Christians can explain their views and show what the Bible says about these points, using the appropriate biblical references. Show respect and love for others. Explain the biblical concept of festivals in contrast to the festivals of Islam. What is the biblical understanding of certain stories, such as Abraham sacrificing his son Isaac? Explain the biblical message of hope, that all who accept the way of God will be saved. I like to stress that the aim is not to win an argument with a Muslim friend, but to have a positive and helpful conversation. If you enjoyed this session, to gain an understanding of the chronology and Islamic festivals, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We have more content like this coming your way. If you find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. If you have any questions or want to explore this topic further, please leave them in the comments and I will be happy to respond. You can also find more details and information in my book, available for free download on our website. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and God bless.